Hi photo students, I wanted to get a very quick recap of our long one part one and just give you a scenario again where you might be hitting a wall and finding a little bit of confusion. Now again, read through the directions like we have and watch some of the videos that I've already given you and some of the other ways of experimenting online with some of our simulators, playing around with aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. But I'm going to use, right now I'm using our coarse loaner camera. I'm going to just photograph this mug that's on my desk, and I'm going to show you a scenario probably some of you guys are running into. So in general, I'm going to start with my ISO at 100. Let me put it back there because I had been messing around a little bit. I'm in manual mode still, and I'm at 18 millimeter on my lens, and 18 millimeter is going to give me the ability to open up that aperture as wide as possible on this lens. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you I'm at a 60th of a second on my shutter speed, and I'm going to open up my lens all the way while pointed at this object at 18 millimeter, and when I'm all the way open at 3.5 right now, that's giving me a proper exposure looking at this object at 100 ISO. So I'm going to go ahead and photograph that, and I think that that image is pretty dark. It's pretty true to what I'm probably seeing in terms of the shadow cast and everything like that, but just for the sake of the exercise, I want to brighten this image using bracketing. Now, the issue we're going to run into is I'm all the way open. I'm at that 60th of a second that I want to have in order to hand hold my camera, and hand holding is going to give me that ability to cut down on motion blur. So I need to increase my ISO here, my sensor sensitivity, in order to be able to bracket and overexpose here. So I'm going to select info, go over to my ISO, and I'm going to jump all the way to 800 for the sake of showing you that when you go from 100 to 200, you're doubling the amount of light. 200 to 400, you're doubling again. 400 to 800, you're doubling that once more. So the sensitivity is bringing in twice as much light per stop that I increase that ISO. So right now at 3.5, I'm way overexposed. I'll show you at 800 ISO. Right, it's a much brighter image. Let me get, but I'm gonna now, I have some flexibility with my aperture. I can bring this down to 7.1, it's saying, is one stop overexposed. And then if I bring that to 5.6, I get 2 stops overexposure. So I'll be showing you these images on the screen, but I hope that helps you understand that when you hit that wall where you're still at a 60th of a second and on your shutter speed, and you've opened that lens all the way up, the only way to bring brightness now in without dipping below that shutter speed is to increase your ISO. Now if you want to go to a 30th of a second, to a 15th of a second, 8th of a second, you want to experiment with that, feel free to. It'll start to demonstrate for you how motion blur occurs when you start to have a longer shutter speed while hand holding your camera. Alright, I hope that helps, and as always, feel free to ask questions.